Good evening, Minasan. Konbanwa, konnichiwa, ohayo gozaimasu. Wherever you may be in the world, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Let's jump into the sumo. We got lots to talk about today. Yeah, what a day, what a final match. Spoilers, obviously, if you haven't watched day eight, man, go do that before we start talking about it because you'll want to be surprised by some of the results. Um, and Yeah, let's just jump in. Last night we did it live just before that. Okay, we're not going to jump in. We're going to jump back out. We did it live, and it was great. A lot of you came by, left comments. I think it was over 100 people in the chat room at one point. But I did pick the winners, so I just want to say their names out loud again. Zachary for the t-shirt, he's already contacted me. Barb for one of the calendars, she's already contacted me. And Imari, if I'm saying that right, for the other calendar, please contact me, and we'll get all that going because I think I want to go to the post office on Wednesday. So if you can get in touch. That'll be great. Um, okay. Rick is still in first place. No change there, but I think he's even got a wider buffer now. Uh, and Fred Pink has moved up into the third place group. But yeah, so the contest is kind of unchanged. We'll have a look at it tomorrow night and see if any movement has taken place. I moved. Man, five out of my six guys won today. So I think I had about 150 of you ahead of me in points. And now I moved up and there's only about 75 of you ahead of me in points. So I think I went from like tied for 10th place to like tied for seventh place. So my guys had a great day today, a lot of wins for my contest team. So that was really fun. Okay, jump on in. All right, let's start over in Patreon. So in the day 6 to 10 collection, how many videos did I put up today? I think I put up seven. Yeah. Hoshoryu Shodai is up there. Onosato Wakataka Kage. I did a double here, but I'm probably not going to do that anymore for the Ozeki matches because as we get toward the end of the day, sometimes they start to stretch it out to fill the time. And you can see this one was 9 minutes, 52 seconds. And I think I had to cut off some of the replay of the second match. So I'll just make them their own video. A couple matches here. Abi Tobizaru, Wakamoto Haru Kirishima. This was just a single. Tamawashi Kimbozan. Kimbozan, obviously the leader going into today, along with Chiyo Shoma. And Terunofuji Kitanowaka, he was on the leaderboard. And I started off with a couple Juryo matches. I got the Shishi versus Sadanoumi match and Asakoru versus Shimano Umi. We'll talk more about Shimano Umi in a minute. A Juryo man. And then, yeah, and then in the morning, when I woke up this morning, I put up highlights for all the first half action on day seven in two videos. So lots to watch. I've been spoiling you guys. I had such a weird week of work last week, and I was home. There was holidays, and I had days off, and that you've had so much, and now I've got to go back to work. So I'm warning you, Patreon folk, it's not going to be as bountiful and plentiful as it has been the first week, but I will still do my best to pick up key matches on my DVR, etc. Okay. During the day, I was pointing out that I watched this video. It's an hour long almost. It's 51 minutes long by the anime man, Joey, who is an Australian Japanese who is part of a group called Trash Taste. And it's him and Connor and Garnt. And I'm kind of a nerd for the stuff that they talk about. I'm not huge into anime, but they talk a lot about Japan. And I live here, so they have a podcast called the Trash Taste Podcast. But here is Joey, and he calls himself the Anime Man, and he has a widely popular channel, 3.3 million subscribers, and he went and spent the day at Kisei Stable. And here is Shonana Umi and a fourth tier wrestler named Suyama that he interviewed. And as you can see, he put up English subtitles for all their Japanese. And if I can scrub through real quick, he put on the Mawashi and tried his best to take part in training. Very skinny guy. and the whole thing. But he asked a lot of really interesting questions. I thought it would be kind of a glib and surface kind of level thing. You see these from time to time, foreign guys, oh, what's it like to be a sumo wrestler? But he really got access to this stable beyond what I think. The guys, the wrestlers that he trained with were really cooperative. So if you're interested in what it's like, he asked a lot of really interesting questions, actually. What's your salary like? What's your daily life like? Do you worry about one of the interesting questions he asked was, do you worry about the fact that most Japanese men live into their 80s, but life expectancy for most sumo wrestlers is about 65? And they both guys kind of answered honestly. They were very not guarded with their answers. They talked about Sanctuary, the Netflix show. So I highly recommend this video. I already left a comment on it. It's got already 70,000 views in 3 days. But if you're interested in life at a stable and things like that, it really is well done. And so here's his channel, just to reiterate again. He's called the Anime Man. And I'll stop that because sometimes, and here it is. I spent a day training with real Japanese sumo wrestlers, and so there you go. And he's done other ones like this. I haven't watched some of these other ones, so maybe I'll go give them a try. I spent a day with Japan's Last Samurai. I spent a day with Japanese Atomic Bomb Survivor. So, I'm interested in some of these other ones he's put up now. I usually just watch him and the other two guys on Trash Taste. But yeah, I highly recommend this video. So go check it out. Okay, and then the other video I'll really quick mention is I said I would find the Terunofuji press conference, and here it is. It's about 10 minutes long, and it's on the official Sumo Kyokai channel. And so I am subscribed, as you can see, but I don't remember it showing up in my feed. But of course, unfortunately, you can turn on captions here, but only it's just Japanese. It's just what they're saying in Japanese, which makes sense because captions are supposed to be for deaf people, right? So they can see text for what's being said. But often we think of it as, you can turn it on in a different language. You can get English when it's. But it's not the case here. It's just so far they've only released it in Nihongo. So if you're interested in just watching it, there's some cute moments at the end, I think, where his kids come out and give him flowers, and his son is adorable. So maybe somebody online, I think one of the guys in my Twitter feed started to translate it. So if you're really that interested, check it out on Twitter, maybe. And there is that video. I'll put a link to it in the description. So if you want to go check it out, see what other videos they have up on this channel. Um, again, mostly all in Japanese, but they do put up interesting stuff from time to time. Here's one where it's titled in English. So maybe there's some English involved there. And they have these little like almost podcast things and, other things about uh, the day's events. Yeah, so lots about food. 12 days ago, 10 days ago. So they've got some stuff up here. But of course, it's all in Japanese. Okay, let's jump into today's action. So let's go to absent Rikishi. Nobody. Good. Always good to just check. You never know. Matches and results. We'll start down in Juryo, as we always do. So, Waka Ikari, I'm definitely going to have one of his matches next weekend. I didn't get him this weekend. If he keeps winning, though, he's going to be really in the spotlight. So I will try my best to put up one of his matches on next Saturday or Sunday, day 14 or day 15. Let's see who else is doing well. Tochi Taikai is at 6-2. Okay, so Surugisho is now 0-8. Got his Make Koshi today. 8 straight losses from day one. Aonishiki beat him today, so Aonishiki from Ukraine is now 7-1. The White Bear, Shirokuma got a win to go to 5-3. And then these are the two matches I put up on the channel. Asakoru 6-2 beat Shimano Umi. So this is the guy in the video that Joey did, and it was obviously filmed a ways ago. I don't know how far back it was filmed. Probably maybe between the November tournament and now, although they're very well, I mean the sumo wrestlers aren't allowed to wear, but Joey doesn't even seem to be wearing any type of warm clothing. So I'm feeling it was maybe even back in the fall, and he's just had to, edit the footage and everything. So he's unfortunately, for being kind of getting known by foreign fans through this video, perhaps he's having one of the worst tournaments of his recent career. Poor guy. He's a kind of a Juryo mainstay, as you can see here. Never putting up great numbers, but this 0-8 is just horrible. Let's see, he's been in Maegashira before, but that was a long time ago. And he has his stablemates are Ura and Shinana Umi and Kim Bozan, and Kim Bozan's having the opposite tournament, the tournament of his life. And poor Shinana Umi is Shimano Umi, sorry, is just not doing well this tournament. So if we look at Kisei's stable, who let Joey have access, here are some of their top guys: Shiden, Shimanumi, Hidena Umi are in the Juryo, and then this is the other guy they interviewed, Suyama. They're a pretty young guy, and had some really thoughtful answers too. And unlike some of the guys who like love sumo from when they're a kid, get into sumo, do sumo, and then finally get recruited, he only started doing sumo when he was at university, and then decided to try to, do professional sumo. And so far, he's made it up to Sandamne. He was briefly in the third tier, but he got a 1-6. Uh, but and he's only got a 1-3 right now, and that one win was a walkover win, a free win. So, yeah, he's got to turn things around too, because he's so close to being promoted back up to the third tier, but not having a great tournament right now. So we'll see if he can. He still has a chance at Kachikoshi, though. He just have to win his last three matches in a row, and that would put him back up in Makushita. So that would be good. Okay, back over to the matches. Height. So, and then the final match of the day down in Juryo is also on the channel. That's Shishi taking on Sadanoumi, and Shishi won to go to 7-1. So we'll look at the leaderboard in a moment, but it is shaping up down there, and it's still pretty wide open who might win the Yusho Championship down there in Juryo. Okay, up into the Makuuchi division. Kaio came up from Juryo to fill in a spot, and he fought Nishiki Fuji. And at Juryo 1, he needs wins to go up to the top division. He got one today. He went to 4-4 after beating Nishiki Fuji, who's also now 4-4. Toki Hayate. So both guys at the very bottom of the Banzuke, the bottom rank in the top division, Maegashira 17, are at 4-4. So they've got 7 days left, and they've got to win four out of those seven matches to get their Kachikoshi. And that's doable. So Toki Hayate getting a much needed win here, but unfortunately for Koto Shoho, 1-7. And we have a few guys that have this kind of terrible record in the top division right now. Hakuoho got another win at M15, go to 5-3 by beating Nishikigi. Onokatsu's 5-3 after beating Kageyaki. He's looking like he's going to be going back down to Juryo. Thomas Shoho making his debut, but he's just so slender. He's only 127 kg. And I know you're thinking, Jason, that's over 250 pounds. Yeah, but it's not a lot when you compare it to just about any other sumo wrestler. Let's Toki Hayate, 139 kg, and he's kind of slender and still at least what, more than 10 kilos heavier. 155 kg for Hakuoho. Then you get to somebody like Kaio, who's pretty massive, 168 kg. Okay, so Thomas Shoho is coming at these guys with a big disadvantage. Now he's tall. He's like 6'4", maybe 6'5". I can't remember what 189 is. I'm 181, and I've always said that I'm 6 foot. So yeah, figure it out. But he's a Mongolian. It's his first time, and but he's maybe just a little too slight. to really take on the big guys. And he's gotten 3 wins. So he's not out of the hunt yet. But 4 losses in a row must have been terrible, but he's been able to bounce back a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on him. Okay, Takerufuji. Okay, the Gru character from Sergio Aragones is 7-1 today by beating Kitanowaka at M11. Then Kim Bozan. Of course, this is on the channel. Kim Bozan versus Tamawashi, 7-0, going against 6-1 when the match started. Kim Bozan wins. Yorikiri, and now Tamawashi is 6-2. Tamawashi's not worried about winning the Yusho or anything. He just wants to get his Kachikoshi, have a good tournament, and I think he'll definitely get his Kachikoshi. Kim Bozan, though, is, it'll be interesting to see. Somebody asked in the chat room over on Patreon, when are they going to start putting him up against maybe Sanyaku opponents? Well, not yet, but I think if he goes to maybe 10-0, by day 10 he wins, day 11, maybe. Maybe they'll put him up against a Komusubi or a Sekewake. Will he fight Hoshoryu? Doubtful, but maybe in a playoff or something. We'll just have to see. Boom. Shonana Umi, 3-5 after beating Meisei. Takayasu still getting some wins. He's 5-3 now. He beat Oshoma. Ichi Yamamoto also 5-3. Beat Shirana Umi. Sorry. Oh, Hirada Umi 4-4 after beating Mitake Umi. He's in trouble at 2-6. If you've only got 1 or 2 wins on day 8, you're in trouble. Mitake Umi can lose one more match, and then any loss after that is a losing record. Okay, I missed this match. I don't know what I was thinking today. I meant to put it up. Chiyoshoma fought Takara Fuji. Hopefully Don Don Sumo or somebody else features it. Although it's a Totari Kimarite, so it was an odd match. But I didn't get to see it. And when I'm sitting there live, I don't tape the sumo, so I can't go back and catch it if I miss it. And I missed it. And but he lost, so he's off the undefeated leaderboard, now on the one-loss leaderboard, which we'll look at in a minute. And Takara Fuji, the veteran, got the win to go 4-4. Ura got a win over Endo. You're talking about the most popular man in sumo now, the most popular man in sumo about 10 years ago. Yeah, if you haven't been watching sumo a while, Endo was a sensation when he first came on the scene, and he's stuck around. Has never really, I think he's been Komusubi. Let's see what his highest rank. Yeah, he's been Komusubi. He's never made it above Komusubi, but that was a while ago. He made his Makuuchi debut in 2013. So there you go, about 11 years ago. And there was advertising campaigns and the girls were going crazy and he was the most handsome man in sumo and all this stuff. And he really hasn't ever lived up to any of that kind of like glow up. But from all accounts, a very nice guy and just a very private guy. Like he didn't like the fame. He didn't like all the extra attention. Gonoyama 5-3 against Itami Fuji. Unfortunately, as much fun as he is to watch, he's just not getting the wins. He's 2-6 now. Abi Tobizaru, which was a really fun match because it really was going both ways for a while, and then Abi got the win in the end. But Tobizaru definitely had his chance, and he just couldn't, seal the deal. Abi now 5-3. Tobizaru also 5-3 with the loss. Kurishima, who's on my team, so I'm happy he beat Wakamoto Haru, but I'm not happy that Wakamoto Haru is 1-7. Any loss now is a Makekoshi. He'll be demoted from Sekewake, and how far down he goes will just be how many wins he can get to balance it out. But Kirishima Ye is looking okay at 5-3. Daisho staying strong at Sekewake. He'll stay there. He'll get 2 more to get to his 8. He's now 6-2. Takanosho, the other Maegashira one, though, is almost as bad as Wakamoto Haru, 2-6 record, so in trouble, and he'll be going down the Bansuke. So then we came to Oho Kotozakura, and this was probably an upset for some. Some people probably thought Oho was going to win this match, and Kotozakura was going to have none of it. And it was a fun match. So Wate Dashinage win for the Ozeki. Check that one out. Again, maybe go to Don Don Sumo if you're not watching anything else. I'm sure he has it in his top 5 matches of the day. Oho now 6-2. Then Wakataka Kage, one of the members of my team, was hoping, I want Onosato to do well, and I think he's probably going to win some Yusho this year. But I wanted Wakataka Kage to win this one match because he's on my team this time, but he couldn't. Onosato got the win. He's now 5-3. Wakataka Kage 3-5. Uh, danger, danger, Will Robinson. He might not stay at Komusubi. We'll have to see. And then the big match. I mean, if you have Patreon, I apologize for your speakers. I was shouting. I could not believe that Shodai pulled off a win here. And so yeah, I was I was very vocal in my astonishment for him getting the win here. It was a corker of a match. And it's got to be number one in Don Don's sumo rundown uh, of the day. If you don't know what we're talking about, I think I mentioned him the other day, but let me just pull it up really quick. Don Don Sumo, because I think it is a fun way. Yeah, here it is. So top five matches of day 8, and here's his channel. So go check those out. And but yeah, just wow, what a match. So Hoshoryu now, and a lot of you in the poll, we talked about the poll uh a lot last night on the live feed. A lot of you thought, okay, 14-1, he should get promoted to Yokozuna Hoshoryu. 13-2, okay. Not as many of you, but a lot of you are like, okay, that's a good record. We need a Yokozuna, but none of you thought if he goes to 12-3, if he gets 3 losses and he still wins the U show at 12-3, that he should be promoted. That all of you then think that's not good enough. He should wait. Even Murray today on the play-by-play, the English Murray Johnson on the English broadcast, doesn't feel that Hoshoryu deserves to be promoted to Yokozuna if he does not get at least a 13-2. He said a 12-3 is not good enough. So it'll be interesting if the reaction, if they do promote him, even if he gets a 12-3. Now, there's no saying he's going to get a 12-3. Shoot, he might get a 10-5, but he could get a 13-2 and still, he has 2 losses right now. But that means he has to win every single match. He has to beat Onosato. He has to beat Kotozakura. He has to win every single match between now and day 15. And you should have to do that. That should be something that you have to do to become the highest thing in sumo, right? To become a yokozuna. So I don't feel like it's too much pressure or something. No, that it should be hard to become a yokozuna. And so he has to prove himself now, right? This is where he has to step up and go, okay, I deserve to be a yokozuna. I want to be a yokozuna. I'm going to win every match now between now and the final day. If he does that, I think that's impressive, and I still think he should be promoted with a 13-2. But if it's less than that, I agree with just about everybody else and say no. Some of you are adamant that no matter what he does this bus show, he shouldn't be promoted. If he wins this U show, great, but now he has to win another one, like the old standard of 2 U show in a row in March, and then he should get promoted. So a lot of you are like, no, doesn't matter. He doesn't deserve it if he just wins this U show. I don't think you're going to get your wish because they need a Yokozuna now that Terunofuji is retired. So I think if he does get a 13-2, he will be promoted. That's my prediction on day 8. You heard it here. We'll see how that pans out. Okay. What a match though. All right. So tournament record. No, not tournament leaders. So there you go. All alone, Kimbozan, Maegashira 14. Now you got to remember, in January of a year ago, we had a Maegashira 17 come out of nowhere named Terunofuji who won the tournament. So strange things happen in January sometimes. And the other 2 guys, only one off the pace, are both Maegashira ranked wrestlers, Chiyoshoma and Terunofuji. No Daisho, no Ozeki, no nobody that's higher ranked is even on that board anymore. They're all 2 losses or more. So right now, Kim Bozan has a 2-win buffer over any high ranked guy like Daisho or Hoshoryu, and he has a 1-win buffer over these 2 guys, And I think he has Terunofuji tomorrow on day 9. We're about to check the day 9 action out, so let's keep that in mind. Down in Juryo, 3 guys on the leaderboard: Shishi, Aonishiki, and Waka Ikari. So keep an eye on those 3 guys. All of them have a chance to get their Kachikoshi tomorrow on day 9. Both of these guys have a chance to get their Kachikoshi. Almost nobody picked Kimbozan on the contest page as the first person that they thought would get Kachikoshi for the tiebreaker. So we might have to go to the backup if we need it, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and down into the other divisions. So yeah, uh, still pretty wide open. Both of these guys, Shishi and Aonishiki, are close enough to the top of Juryo where if they both put up double-digit plus wins, like 11 or 12 wins, they could both be promoted back, well, not back up to my Makuuchi. Shishi, it would be back up, but Aonishiki, it would be first time. But there's other guys, ranked above them that are going to get their Kachikoshi and also be eligible for promotion. So it's hard to say exactly yet. But either of them wins the championship, automatic promotion up to the top division. Juryo 13 wins the championship. Generally, they don't get promoted all the way up to the Makuuchi division. They have to go up to like Juryo 1 or 2 and then put up one more good performance. Okay. Bow, 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 bow. Okay, Tachiai. So part of what they did today on day 8 was they brought out the guys from Maizumo, which is like Mai means before. So it's like the guys who are trying to prove that they're ready to start competing in top division, not top division, but professional sumo. And so they have to win 3 of their matches. And if they do that, they get to come out and here are the guys. They wear their Keisho Mawashi, and there was 7 of them. And one of them, notably, is Hikaru Musashi. And he's Musashi Maru's nephew. And I believe he's from Hawaii. And he is an American. So we haven't had an American in sumo in a while. We had a guy from Texas named Waka Ichiro. Shoot, man, now that was a number of years ago. We had a Canadian, Brody, I think was his name. He was a number of years ago, but neither of them lasted very long. Neither of them got above like the 4th tier division or whatever. Yeah, interesting. We'll keep an eye on him. It's him right here, with the American Eagle on his thing, his Keisho Mawashi, and he is I don't know if he's half Japanese or what the story is. Haven't really looked into him yet, but yeah. And another one of Asashoryu's nephews, it was in the group, Tenrose. So yeah, an interesting class of newcomers here on day 8 were introduced. They just come out and they bow. They don't compete because you're not competing in a home bus show, but they'll start competing in what is that, Jonokuchi, uh, in the very bottom division of the 6 divisions in March. So that was over on Tachiai. Okay, day 9. Let's see what we got. See what our big matchups are down. So one of our leaders, Waka Ikari, starting the day off against Juryo 12, Kiryuko, 4-4. What else we got? 1-7 versus 1-7. Shishi has Mitoryu, so he's kind of in the middle of the day. Tochi Taikai 6-2. He's one off the pace. He's going up against Tsurugisho, who's still showing up for work. Ryuden's also 6-2. See, like he's probably going to get his Kachikoshi, and he's ranked above Shishi and Aonishiki. So he's probably going to get promoted maybe above them. But it's, sometimes you can leapfrog over guys. Juryo 2 Asakoru should get his Kachikoshi. Excuse me. He fights Hide Naomi tomorrow. Aonishiki has Juryo 1 Kaio. So we'll see how he does. And then the other Juryo one has Shimano Umi, who, as we said, is already got a losing record at 0-8. We've got 2 guys who are 0-8, and they're both high enough up the Banzuke, Juryo 3 and Juryo 5, that if they can get 4 or 5 wins, they don't have to get Kachikochi, but if they can just get 4 or 5 wins, maybe win half their remaining matches, they'll stay in Juryo. They won't be demoted all the way out to the third tier division. Okay, dun, dun, top division. So Shiden is up from Juryo to fight Kageyaki. Let's see. Onokatsu has Nishiki Fuji. Does this sometimes throw you like it throws me? Nishiki Fuji and Nishikigi. I have to remember which one is which. Standing next to each other is no problem. You can definitely say, "Oh, that's him and that's him," but just name wise, it just always is like, which one is which? Um, okay. So here's the big highlight match. Boom, boom. Kimbo's on 8-0 against Takeda Fuji 7-1. So that will definitely go up on the Patreon channel tomorrow. Fun matchup there. One of them will, well, Kimbozan can stay undefeated and on top of the leaderboard, or he'll join the one-loss group and they'll both be 8-1. Takeda Fuji would get his Kachikoshi. Hakuoho has Meisei. Tamawashi has Endo. They have a huge head-to-head, I'm sure. Takayasu has Takara Fuji in the Battle of the Old Guys. Chiyoshoma 7-1 has Chirano Umi. Oho Atami Fuji. And then we get into our top ranked guys. Wakataka Kage versus Takanosho. Abi versus Kirishima. That's a fun matchup. Wakamoto Haru, Tobizaru. I'm going to think Tobizaru is going to win that. Hoshoru's first Ozeki. He fights Hirada Umi. Koto Sakura Ura. Just you just say Ura and you smile. And Daisho versus Onosato in the final match of the day. That's actually a pretty good test for Onosato right here. See if he can continue. I mean, I think he's going to get his Kachikoshi. I don't think it's going to be Kadoban. I don't know if he's going to get double-digit wins this tournament. We'll see. Koto Sakura now, after, how he fought today, I feel like he might get 8. He might be able to squeak out an 8-7. But this is he should beat Ura tomorrow. There's no reason for him to lose to Ura unless Ura has something up his sleeve. So there is the day 9 matchups for January 20th tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. But back at work tomorrow. It's Monday, and a lot of you guys though, in the States that are watching this, hello, fellow Americans. You have the day off tomorrow, right? Because it's Martin Luther King Day. I'm a huge I don't know, should you say fan? I'm a huge admirer of Dr. King. I teach civil rights and apartheid in kind of a unit that I do in my history class in 10th grade. And so I talk a lot about the civil rights movement and what um, Dr. King stood for. And my students are so unaware of what discrimination and prejudice and racism is. It's a very always interesting unit for me to teach to my Japanese students. And uh, you know, and then I balance that out with talking about another place that had a problem with that same thing, which was South Africa, and we talk about Mandela and apartheid, and it's one of my favorite units to teach because I really do feel like it opens their eyes to what goes on in some other places in the world that they're just not, Japan. I love Japan. It's a very homogeneous hum, what word am I trying to say, guys? Um, it's a culture with a lot of the people that are the same. Not that they're the same in personality or whatever, but you know what I mean. It's like 97% of the people that live in Japan are Japanese. And I know that sounds stupid when you say it out loud, but there's not a lot of diversity here. And so because of that, there's not a lot, no Japanese kid who grew up in Japan is ever, I don't know, maybe because of their accent or something they've been made fun of, but it's just not the same as what happens in America and other places in the world. And I don't know why I'm going off on this rant, but it just made me think of it. So anyway, enjoy your Martin Luther King Day. I think the now famous SNL skit the other day where, George Washington is talking to his troops and he's like, "Why are we fighting, Mr. Washington?" "Well, we're fighting because we want to be able to name measurements after how we want to name them." And then he says, "And we're going to have a holiday called President's Day. What will we do to celebrate this holiday, Mr. Washington?" "We'll buy a mattress." And it's just, what do you do on, I think it used to be President's Day, right? Or is that in January? Wait, it is January. So wait, is President's Day now Martin Luther King Day? See, I haven't lived in America enough to know. Did they kind of swap them out? Do we still have President's Day? Is that in February? Ugh. See, my calendar right here that I look up to has Japanese holidays on it, so I don't even know. But anyway, you can leave it down. Educate the dumb history teacher down in the comments about what is there still a President's Day? There's got to be still a President's Day, right? Okay. I don't know. But anyway, happy Martin Luther King Day. I know that's happening tomorrow for some of you in the world. Thanks for everybody again that came by the live. I'm gonna do another live on the 25th on day 14. The Sumo Summary Show will be live that night. Same thing. And yeah, it was just so much fun. I want to do it again. Okay. Anything else? I'm trying to think really quick. Scan through. I talked to you about the winners of the contest, or the winners of the giveaways, I should say that. And okay, so I've shared everything I need to share, I think. So join me tomorrow. A bunch of you took me up on the offer of coming over to Patreon, taking advantage of that 15% off code. It's down in the description if you're interested. You signed up, so I hope you're enjoying the coverage. I'll be back with some coverage for day 9. Of course, that Kim Bozan match, I got to have that. And of course, um, all the Ozeki matchups at the end of the day, as always. So see you there. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Peace.